Hi, my dear friends. Welcome back to another class of SQL. In this class, we are going to see how our table value function, again a user-defined function, how can it be created and used. In the previous class, we saw what is a user-defined function. Okay, how to create a user-defined function, and there are two types of user-defined functions. Okay, one is your scalar value function, which we saw in the last class, and another one is table value function, which we'll see in this class. So we have to use our own database, which we have been using for the last couple of classes. That is class 2. Go to line number 1, select this, use class 2 and hit the execute button. Database is ready to be used. Now come to this particular thing, table value function. Short form is TVF. TVF stands for table value function. What I've written here is TVF returns a table. That is, it outputs a table. So what is the difference between scalar value function, short form is SVF, and table value function, which is TVF? What is the difference between SVF and TVF? SVF stands for scalar value function, TVF stands for table value function. The difference lies in the difference basically lies in the fact that your scalar value function SVF, which we created in our last class, it will always return you value. It will always return you value, whereas TVF will always return you a table. Okay, SVF will always return you value, TVF will always return you a table. So the output of SVF will be always a value, output of TVF will always be a table. Like if you remember in our previous class, this particular function, this was a scalar value function SVF. Via this, we were able to generate the company email IDs for all the employees. And those were values stored under this column comp underscore mail. Okay, so again, a scalar value function SVF, it will return you value. Okay, whereas in case of TVF, table value function, it will return you a table. SVF will output a value, TVF will output a table. Okay, SVF will return you value, TVF will return you a table. Okay, that is the difference. Now, if you remember this table emp underscore inc, then select this line number 83 and execute. Select asterisk from emp underscore inc. This particular table, it consisted of the records of 79 employees. So there were 79 EID values, 79 department values, 79 designation values, 79 salary values. How to create a TVF, that is table value function? Go to line number 85 and there you write this syntax using these keywords, create function, and then give a function name. Here the function name that I've given is tab underscore my, and then give your parenthesis. In case of function, you will always have to give parenthesis. Okay, so this is a function name that I've given here, tab underscore my, and any name you can give, whatever you like, it's up to you. And inside the parenthesis there is nothing, there are no parameters. If you remember, in case of SVF, inside the parenthesis we had to declare our parameters and their data types. This we had done in the previous class. Now in case of TVF, if you want, you can leave it as blank, that is no parameters inside the parenthesis. Okay, then line number 86, returns. What will be the return output? What will be the return output type of this kind of a function where I'm creating it as a table value function TVF? As I told you, a TVF will always return a table, nothing else. That's why the returns type here is table. Okay. In case of SVF, if you remember, the returns type can be int, var, char, anything, var, char. Okay, like here for this, the returns type was var, char. Then for this, the returns type was int. This was also a SVF, scalar value function, and this was also an SVF, scalar value function, where the returns type was varchar. Because ultimately SVF will return you value, so that's why the data type of the value you have to mention. Okay, and in case of TVF, its return type is always fixed. It will always return you a table. A table value function TVF will always return you a table only. So its returns type, that is the data type that it will return, is always fixed, which is a table only, as it returns a table. So returns table, that is your data type. Then go to line number 87 as keyword you have to use. Okay. And then you have to write this return statement. See, in case of SVF, we had to write these two keywords like after as. In line number 65, this was for SVF, scalar value function of our previous class. After that, we had to write this begin keyword and this end keyword, and between these two keywords we had to, or between these two keywords we had to write our code or main operational lines of codes. Okay. But in case of TVF, no need to use begin, no need to use end. Simply you have to write return. This keyword you have to write. Return keyword you have to write. Then you can use this parenthesis, opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and within this parenthesis, that is within these brackets, you have to write your query. Okay. This kind of query we have previously seen also, join operation. Okay. Here we are performing an inner join operation. Inner join operation will always return you the common records based on the common field only, definitely. Okay. So just a recap of that only. However, the filtering condition is that the output records will be displayed only with respect to the operations department. Okay. So select this keyword you have to write. After that, e.eid. EID values will be displayed. Then name values will be displayed. Then city values will be displayed. Then phone values will be displayed. And if you remember, name, city, phone, they come from which table? They come from this particular table, emp2 underscore 2 table. And then continuing on, department, that is dept, designation, that is desi, then salary, these values will be also there. These values will be also displayed, and they will be coming from which table? They will be coming from this table, emp underscore inc. Okay. And a comma, then here you have salary into 0.11, that is 11% of salary will be computed for all the employees, and those values will fall under this calculated field. And here I've named this calculated field as EA1. What is calculated field, how they can be created, this we have discussed in our previous videos. So if you have not checked them out, you can check them out in the SQL playlist. So this will be an extra field, calculated field. EA1 stands for extra allowance 1, that will be given for all the employees, and it will be computed as 11% of the salary values for all those employees. Okay. Similarly, here you have another second extra field, which is your calculated field EA2, there is extra allowance 2, that will be given to the employees. And how will be that computed? Now salary into 0.19 means 19% of the salary values shall be given to them in bonus, that is in form of extra allowance 2. So there are two calculated fields here, and these two calculated fields, they do not exist in either of the tables. Okay. EA1 and EA2. EA1 will comprise of 11% of salary values for the employees, and EA2 will consist of the 19% of salary values for the employees. And then as we have previously seen our join operations, if you have not checked out those video for join operations, you can go into the playlist and check them out. So here we have to write the left table, which is our emp2 underscore 2, and you can rename it as E. That is for this particular operation. This particular table can be used by using this name E also instead of emp2 underscore 2. Okay, alias. Then go to the next line, line number 91, inner join, and then go to the next line, line number 92. Here you have to write the name of the right table, which is emp underscore inc alias ei. So for this particular operation, emp underscore inc can be used by just using this name ei. On then on keyword you have to write, and this on keyword you have to write on the basis of the common field between the two tables. E.eid means emp2 underscore 2 dot eid. Ei dot is equals to is equals to ei dot eid. Ei is what? Emp underscore inc dot eid. So you see, emp2 underscore 2 alias e has this field eid, and emp underscore inc alias ei also has a field eid. So the common field between these two tables is eid. emp2 underscore 2 also has eid field, and emp underscore inc also has eid field. So that's how we perform the join operations, by selecting the common fields between them, between the tables. Okay, by selecting the common field between the tables. And here I'm doing a filter operation. Filter means like filtering out, where department is equals to operations, DEPT is equals to operations, OPERNS. So ultimately, all these all these output values that you will get to see, there is the records that you will get to see, will belong only to those employees who work in the operations department. Only their corresponding records you will be able to see. So if you remember this join operation, inner join will only return you the common records. Common records means EMP2 underscore 2, this particular table had how many EID values? 132 EID values. EMP underscore INC had how many EID values? 79 EID values. And those 79 EID values of EMP underscore INC are also present in this particular table EMP2 underscore 2. So in EMP2 underscore 2, out of 132 out of 132 EID values, 79 EID values are present also. 79 EID values are also present in this table EMP underscore INC. And EMP underscore INC has got only 79 EID values only, and those 79 EID values are present in this table also EMP2 underscore 2. So only those common 79, only those common 79 EID values will be taken, and that is 79 employees, and those 79 employees have got records in both the tables emp2 underscore 2 as well as emp underscore inc. So those 79 eids have got values for name, city, phone in this emp2 underscore 2 table, and those 79 EIDs also have got values for department, designation, salary in this particular table EMP underscore INC also. That means 79 employees have got records in both the tables. And only the common EID values will be displayed. Only the common EID values will be displayed. 79 EID values are common, only those will be displayed. And those 79 EID values have got name, city, phone values in the left table, and they also have got department designation salary values in the right table, and accordingly these two extra fields will be also displayed with respect to those 79 employees. Now, out of those 79 employees, there can be say 17 or 20 employees who actually belong to the operations department. So your final output table will not consist of 79 rows. It will consist of fewer rows. That is, rows lesser than 79. And only those rows will be displayed where the EIDs or the employees belong to the operations department. That is why the filtering condition is there, where department is equals to operations. So ultimately, only the operations department based records will be only displayed. That is, those employees who work in the operations department, only for them name, city, phone, department designation, salary, their calculated fields EA1, EA2, and those corresponding EID values will be only displayed. Okay, so in case of TVF, no need to use begin, no need to use end. Just simply you have to use this return statement. Inside the parenthesis, you have to write your query. Okay, so lines 85 to 95 you select and hit the execute button. Commands completed successfully. Now you see how to call this TVF. You see, in case of SVF, how we used to call SVF, the scalar value function, if it is there, and I want to call the scalar value function, then you have to use DBO dot, and then you have to give the function name. And accordingly, then you give the parenthesis, and if you want, you can give the name of the column that will be generated from which table that you have to specify. This was for SVF, where you have to use DBO dot function name. But in case of TVF, you no need to do that. In case of TVF, if you want to call that function, then you can call it just like a table only. Select asterisk from, and then you will have to give the name of the function that we created. The name of the function that we created is your tab underscore my. Okay, so just like how you call your a table, just like how we call a table in SQL, simply like that only, you will have to call your TVF, table value function also. And of course, as because ultimately it is a function, at the end you have to specify this parenthesis. So select asterisk from, then the name of the TVF, and then as it is a function, you have to specify here the parenthesis. No parameters were used here. So that's why here also inside the parenthesis it is blank, because no values will be passed. To whom the values will be passed? There are no parameters only. No parameters were enclosed within this parenthesis. So no values will be passed here only. Okay. So select line number 97 and hit the execute button, and you see you get all the values. How many rows we are getting? If you follow the cursor at the bottom right hand corner, it displays 16 rows. That means there are 16 records of employees. That means there are 16 employees who belong to the operations department, who have their EID values in both the tables, and accordingly they have their records in both the tables, that is name, city, phone, department designation, salary, and accordingly their EA1, EA2 were also calculated. This was for TVF, table value function. Now, keeping everything same, suppose I want to make it a dynamic TVF. Dynamic TVF means, like, this one is a static TVF. This one is a static TVF. Why static? Because it is fixed. Why it is fixed? Because this will display records only with respect to the operations department. But say I want to vary it. I want to check the records of various departments. It can be operations, it can be HRD, it can be miscellaneous, that is MISC, like that. So in that case, I can make it a dynamic TVF. So in case of dynamic TVF, what I have to do? I have to pass value, department value, that is department name, which is a value only. Department name I can pass to this function. If I pass a department name, which is a value only, to this function, then that value has to be taken up by some parameter. So that parameter has to be defined inside this parenthesis. So I have taken here at the rate D. You can give any variable name, whatever you like. I have used here at the rate D. You can use at the rate DEP, like that also. Okay. So parameter I have defined here inside the parenthesis at the rate D, and I have to define its data type varchar, and also the maximum length value, the maximum length that it is going to have in terms of its value, that you have to specify. I have given here the maximum length that it can have is 10. MISC, 4 letter character, so length will be 4. HRD, 3 letter character, so the length will be 3. So there is no other department name which has got more than 10 characters. Okay, the maximum length can be 10. This is a higher upper limit that I've assigned in case of if you do some modification on your own and have some longer department names. In that case, it can come in handy. So ultimately, you will have to pass a department name, which is a value, to this particular TVF. Tab underscore my one is the name I have written here, because already tab underscore my is there. So you cannot use tab underscore my again here. Okay. So here you will have to select some other name. So that's why I've selected here tab underscore my one. Then inside here you have to specify the parameter to which the value will be passed. Value passed will be department name. And since the department column falls under the varchar data type, hence here also you have to specify varchar data type. Rest everything remains the same. Rest everything remains the same except in the last line. In the last line, you see here you have written the var keyword, and after that DEPT, that is department, is equals to at the rate D. Ultimately, I want to make it a dynamic TVF, so any department name can come up here. That department name will be taken up by this parameter at the rate D. Says, for example, I pass here HRD, so HRD value is the department name passed here to at the rate D. So in line number 108, it will be where DEPT is equals to at the rate D. That means DEPT is equals to HRD. So only the HRD department based records will be displayed. Similarly, you can pass some other department name here. For example, say MISC, miscellaneous. So at the rate D will be is equals to MISC, as MISC value will be passed here while calling this TVF. So in line number 108, it will be where DEPT department is equals to at the rate D. That means DEPT department is equals to MISC. So only the miscellaneous department based records will be displayed. Okay. So select lines 99 to 109 in order to create this function ultimately, so that it gets compiled and executed and it will be ready to use. Commands completed successfully. Come down to line number 111. So it was a TVF ultimately, because here the returns type is what? The returns type is table. So the data type is here table. It means table will be always returned by this function. That means it is a table value function TVF. So just like how we call a table, simply like that, you will have to call your TVF, table value function. So how we do that? Select asterisk from tab underscore my one. This is the second TVF that we created. The name is tab underscore my one. That's what you have to specify here. Then inside the parenthesis, you will have to write the department name. This operations. Okay. So select line number 111. That means operations value will go to your at the rate D. So where department, hence this department will be inspected against the operations only, operations value only. So operations value department based records will be only displayed. So select line number 111, execute, and you have those 16 rows only. That is all the departments see operations. Everything is operations here. So 16 employees work in the operations department. Then again, if you want to pass HRD value like that, also you can do pass this HRD value. Now, ultimately, again, you'll have to call your TVF. This is how you call it, just like your table. Select asterisk from tab underscore my one, and inside the parenthesis, you will have to pass a value, HRD value that will be passed to your at the rate D, and hence the department of HRD will be inspected only here. So DEPT is equals to HRD, it will become. So only the HRD based records will be filtered out and displayed. Okay, so go to line number 112 and hit the execute button. And how many rows you have? 9 rows. That means 9 employees have records in both the tables and they belong to the HRD department. And similarly, you can check for the miscellaneous department also, MISC, where you call this TVF and MISC value will be passed to this particular parameter at the rate D. That means only MISC based department values will be your filtered out, and their corresponding records will be filtered out and displayed, because here DEPT department will be equals to MISC, so only miscellaneous department records will be displayed. Select line number 113, go to execute, 8 rows. So there are 8 employees who belong to this miscellaneous department who have got records in both the tables. Okay. So this was for TVF, and I hope that you have understood this lecture. And if you have any doubts, you can leave them in the comments. I shall answer them. And if you have liked this video, then you can hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and press the bell icon for further notifications. So that's it for this video. Thank you.